Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Marina. I am a certified lash tech based in Toronto, Canada, and I like making lash extension videos. Before I start all my videos, I just like to put out there that everything I'm sharing with you guys are just techniques and methods that work for me. So I always continue and encourage people to go out and learn from different sources, because what might work for me may not work for you, and that's totally okay. But in some way, I am trying to create an avenue of learning, so I hope you guys can take something away from this video. So getting into the strip lash look, so this has been a look that I've done before in previous videos. However, I kind of changed some of my techniques recently and how I go about achieving these types of sets. So one, I will be reiterating some tips that I've done in other videos if you haven't seen them. And two, I'll be also introducing and talking about these new methods that I have kind of adapted to and changed, and I'll explain further as to why I did this. So the first thing I kind of want to touch upon is the length of the spikes in comparison to the base of the fans. So the base of the fans, and when I'm saying like base and spikes, it's very self-explanatory, but just to kind of break it down for you guys, the base is basically the fans that are just at literally the base. Like, it's holding up the spikes, and they're gonna be at the lash line, and they're gonna be at the bottom lash line and also filling in between the spikes. But what you want to do is focus on the layers of the lashes. So basically the fans would be at the bottom, spikes would be at the top. But I'll get further into that. But the first things I want to talk about is the length of the spikes. So before, I used to only increase it by 3 millimeters from the base. So if it was an 8 millimeter, I would go like 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 11 would be my spike, and then so on, and I would just gradually go up. What I noticed is that yes, they are noticeable. I can still see those spikes when they are 3 millimeters up, but I find that the spikes are so much more prominent when you go 4 millimeters rather than 3. And to me, it just looks a lot spikier. They're a lot more emphasized, and it really gives you that strip lash look that I find a lot of girls are looking for when they're trying to achieve this type of set. So this is something to keep in mind. Again, there's so many different ways that you could do the strip lash look. I just find that I like it when the spikes are very, very prominent, because that's why they're getting the set, right? The only downside to going 4 millimeters up in spike is if your client wants a fairly short strip lash look. For me, I do find it quite hard to find shorter like lengths. I was trying to look for 4 to 7 millimeters, so that way, like, if I were to create this set but someone wanted it to be on the shorter side, I'd be able to like accommodate. So if anybody knows lengths where they go from like lengths like 4 to 7, please drop a little recommendation down in the comment section down below. But I'm trying to look for something a little affordable. I do know one company that sells it, but it's a little bit on the pricier side than what I'm used to, so I don't know. But yeah, let me know if you guys know that. So that's something that I have changed and that I like. So another thing that I did not change, but I think is extremely important, and this is kind of what I touched upon prior, is lashing in layers. So I don't actually like lash in layers, but like what I mean by this is that a lot of people, when they talk about lashing in layers, they tape back the top layer, then like divvy out the bottom lash line so that it's easier to isolate. That's not what I mean. I don't really do that taping method. I just like visually look and just see which lashes are at the top layer and which lashes are at the bottom. All the top layered lashes, natural lashes should have a spike on it. And this is because at the bottom layer, you want a fan to be there so that it can support the spike and push up the spike so that the spike is not going to droop down and kind of get lost within the set, making it look a little lopsided. So if you were able to kind of get like a lash underneath, it'll be very helpful for achieving the look that you are trying to get. Only downside to that sometimes is some people have like no layers. Like I know some girls that come in and barely have any eyelashes, natural eyelashes. So in that case, you can kind of determine where you want to place them. But I would try and focus. Like most girls have like at least 2 layers of it. The only times I ever seen like 1 layer maybe is if they like pick at their lashes a lot. But again, that's not normal. So usually they would have layers. So try to focus on that to help those spikes stay up and also help with the directional placement. Something else that I was kind of experimenting with was, should I add the spikes first and then go ahead and fill in the fans in between, or should I use the fans, fill it up, see a spot, add a spike, fill it in, and then add a spike? So I find that when I'm just like filling it with the fans and then adding a spike, filling with the fans, adding a spike, I don't know why, but my spikes always tend to go in multiple directions. It doesn't look as clean, and I don't know if it's because the glue might not have dried completely, so that when I'm trying to isolate other lashes, the fans are kind of pushing the spike and the spike tends to dry in a weird position. That was my guess. I don't know the full answer to that, but I did notice that adding the spikes first and mapping out how I want the length to go has resulted in a very clean lash set at the very end. So I personally would recommend using spikes first to map out where you want all your lengths, and then going ahead and just filling it in with the fans afterwards. I've always gotten the best results for this, so that's just something that I kind of want to put out there so that you guys can play around with your techniques. I mean, you know, who knows, maybe other people like it the other way, but I am part of this Facebook group, and I asked them because it's like a place where you can ask for opinions and some advice, and most girls told me they like to map out with the spikes first. So I think it's just, you know, very common to do strip lash look this way. And yeah, so that's basically it. I'm trying to think if I have anything else that I would like to kind of touch upon. So I guess I'll just like talk about what I've been using and like the set that I'm doing. So it is a doll eye set, and the fans are 0.05, the curls are D and double D curl, base lengths are 8 to 12, and the spikes are 12 to 16. When if ever I put like 2 different curls on, it's because for me, I was taught at my training course that the outer corner should always be tapered out with a curl higher than the middle to the inner corner, because this adds like a lifted little look. Rather, even if it's like doll eye, cat eye, whatever, like outer corner should always lift up a bit. And I've had great results doing this technique, so I stick to it. So if anyone was ever confused as to why I have 2 different curls, that's why. And yeah, so that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll try to answer it. I have gotten suggestions for what kind of videos you guys want to see, and I have been writing them down and referring back to them. I do have ideas that are kind of laid out already, so I've been kind of focusing on those, but I won't ignore them, and I'm not ignoring them. I will get around to doing those kind of videos that you guys want. So just keep the suggestions coming. It really helps me push out new ideas and things that you guys are wanting me to talk about, because maybe I can provide some type of learning, knowledge, experience, whatever it is. So if you're new here, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe. Please comment down below if this was helpful, or if you have any questions and suggestions as well. I'm always open to constructive criticism. I post every Sunday around 6:15, and if you guys could, I'd appreciate it so much if you hit that like button. Any engagement really does help. So stay tuned for the very end to see the results. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
No money to buy, but we can stay all night to see the city lights.